All right. What's up, Dub Nation? Rich here with Dean of Positivity Chambers. How you doing, Dean?
I'm good. How are you, Rich?
Great. Glad you could be here. We're actually going to go live on Instagram as well, just to clue them in. So should have done this at the same time, but what's supper Dub Nation on Instagram? I am doing a live of our live. So if you look at the screen like that, Dean is on YouTube, and we are going to talk about Jimmy Butler and all the different angles. We're taking the energy of the win from last night and keeping the wheels moving and seeing what we can talk about today. So mostly just like doing this for educational purposes. We're not here to I mean, we both have our opinions, but the NBA is constantly moving and changing. So tomorrow it could be different, but based on what we know so far and how we're looking at the Warriors these days, we have to, because Jimmy Butler's been a big topic, and so we're going to look at salary cap situations, what trades can be made in terms of like what exact salary slots and players, and figure out if we want to, add Jimmy Butler to this roster or not, and we'll just explore. So good to have Dean on here, and we'll slowly get into it, because right now it's late Sunday night Pacific time, but it's late morning in the Far East, where a lot of our audience, our regulars are. So we'll kind of ease into it. I'm going to be on YouTube, and I posted the link in Instagram in the stories. So if you're on Instagram and you wanted to like participate more in like a active format, Daniel Barry's in the he's one of our regulars. He's in the comments already. So we're easing into this. I'm going to pull up a back screen that has the Miami Heat cap tables for this year and next year, and we'll ease on into this. So let's see. Yeah, that's good. We're talking about Jimmy Butler again, and let me type that in on Instagram. Jimmy Butler talk, yes or no. Also on YouTube, see IG stories. Type that in there, pin that. Hey, Brianna Famous is in Instagram. Okay, where's my comment? I got to pin that. So give me just a minute. Okay. They're commenting on Instagram. Let's see. Yeah. Arbel. Are we live on YouTube? Yes. Nikki. Daniel. Who's Daniel? Well, good to see everybody. Hey, Brianna, are you coming here for All-Star Weekend? Let me know. Anyways, they've already done the yes, and some got 2 no's on Jimmy Butler. But anyways, before we dive into the potential actual trade, Dean, anything you want to say before we begin? Take your time.
On Butler?
On anything, really, before we dive into this. I guess not yet.
Well, I was very happy with the way the team played yesterday. I felt a lot more like,
yeah,
I guess like we would be able to negotiate from a position of strength, which is important,
Okay.
If we're going to do any of that. And just felt like Schroder really, really, we felt his impact more yesterday obviously against the blowout loss to the Grizzlies. So I was very, very happy to see that.
All right, so we already got the phalanx on there. I wish I had some background music. Man, I got to try the StreamYard background music. But he says he doesn't see how this works. Well, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Okay, what we can every time we get on here, even though we've talked about stuff, the new people are gonna talk about stuff that we've already talked about. So let me send that guy the link of the last trade stuff that we had. Although he's mentioning Vooch and Cam Johnson, as a lot of people do. Talk about those. But we can talk about Vooch again and Cam Johnson after Jimmy, because.
Do you think we should set out some of the rules that we have for talking about trades in the comments?
Sure.
Yeah. So
even though nobody will follow them, but yeah.
Well, so one thing is, me and Rich are both very much into looking at things that are realistically possible, you know, and a big part of that is the second apron and the first apron and salary cap, CBA type of things, which are very complex, you know. So I understand it will happen, but it's probably better to, you know, look at a salary cap at least and make the money match before coming on and saying trade this guy and, you know, trade Brandon Pajemski and Trace Jackson Davis for Zion. Like you can't do that, you know, and 5 straight first round picks. Like you can't do that. We're not asking everybody on here to understand the CBA or anything drastic like that, but just Rich has the Hoops Hype payroll up there. Other websites are available. That's something we do ask, though, is that, you know, if you're going to propose something, you know, try and make the salaries work at least. And this isn't a channel where we're going to you know, trash the players or say we want them off our team or anything like that. You know, a basic principle is act like you're the 19th man on the roster. There are 15 full roster spots and 3 two-way spots potentially. So I guess on the Warriors, it's the 17th man right now. But act like you're on the roster or having to talk to these guys face to face. You know, don't be disrespectful. Don't disrespect players on other teams either. You know, that we might talk about. You can say, "Oh, I never want Butler," but or anybody else, but just be respectful and match salaries, and we'll have a good, positive, constructive conversation on here. And that's the whole idea of how we like to run it.
One dude's already a little bit. I'm really into emotional regulation, guys. Like you're just popping off in the comments. It's hilarious to me, but yeah, we'll get to that if it gets out of hand. So why don't we just jump into it? So we're finally at the 9-minute mark of the timestamp or the live stream. So what exactly would be the trade? The trade for Jimmy Butler. All right, so we've done this before on the last 3 live streams, talking about Jimmy Butler when he comes up in the comments during our game live streams, which, by the way, you guys should come hang out with us. Every time there's a Warriors game, we're here doing a watch party, and we analyze everything. I do the play-by-play, and topics come up. And obviously, Jimmy's been one of the topics. He's been one of the topics mostly of NBA media. So it's not like people are bringing him up left and right in our comments. It's just that we're kind of responding to narratives out there set out by NBA media. And just a few days ago, Jimmy Butler was kind of hot topic amongst various NBA media circles. So there's been a few articles out there, and I'm sure you guys can find those on your own. But so Jimmy Butler, let's get it started. 48.8 million. And I guess we should do Trade Machine, right, Dean? Fanspo. So Fanspo.
Yeah, that's what I like.
I hear you typing away, so you must be on Fanspo, right? What exactly is the link from Fanspo?
Oh, just type in Fanspo Trade Machine.
Yeah, but I use Perplexity instead of Google, so give me a moment.
Oh, okay.
Y'all should do the same. Anyways, Google is going to be old pretty soon. Add team, Miami Heat. Add second team, Golden State Warriors.
Hey, there's Bruce. He showed up like he said he would.
And then Jimmy, trade to Warriors. And the way we looked at it from the cap sheet, which you can use Hoops Hype, for example, just add up the salaries and make sure they add up with another scenario, and came up with because the first thing you want to do is figure out what matching salaries from the Warriors.
Fanspo does have the payroll.
Oh, cool.
To
yeah,
the nearest 100,000. If you click payroll,
like
you can see
you're not trading Steph for Jimmy, right? You're not trading Draymond. Like, we can assume those two are, core to the Warriors, right? Yeah. So then you involve Wiggins. You have to start with the chunk like that. And so how much do you have left over? So you got to make up about 22 more million, right? So we just went ahead and did Gary Payton, Kevon Looney. They've got a couple expiring contracts coming up, as you can see here with the zeros out here, Gary and Looney, and balance that out with Jovic, I think it was, right?
Mm-hmm. It's also J.K.
And J.K., yeah. Because the assumption is that the Heat wouldn't do the deal unless J.K. was in it. So
right. Now, if you scroll up and look at payroll on Fanspo, you can see view payroll right there.
Okay.
Yeah. You can see what their payroll will be and ours, including the traded players.
Okay. Well, for me, as long as they're similar, outgoing 51 million, incoming 51 million, 51.2, 51. And we are
real quick
51.
X Speed Spider-Man, Moody, Pods, and JK, and some picks for Jimmy. That doesn't work financially. You understand? Like, you have to match $48 million salary. So that's a good example of, like, cool, but we can't do that. Like, you're literally not allowed to do it.
It's not realistic. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so yeah,
some engagement though here.
People are pouring in here.
39 watching. We got what? 2? No, that can't be right.
Hit refresh.
That can't be right. 39 watching and 6 likes. Come on, splash the like button, please.
Wow. 6 likes, man. I should just not say anything until we get at least 10 likes. Kuminga doesn't have to be traded to get Jimmy. Well, I don't know that Pat Riley does the deal without Kuminga in it.
Yeah, not financially, but it's,
what are we throwing in there?
Yeah.
And don't just say something, like back it up with something. Wiggs, Moody, Pods, like, come on, man. Have some respect for Pat Riley, man. He's not doing. Here, you have Jimmy Butler, and we're not going to get J.K. in return or anybody dynamic.
Here's another thing too. We are hard capped under the first apron, so we can only take on a certain amount of salary, even though ours isn't that high anyway. However, and this is something I was telling you via text, Reg. Butler's extension next year is probably, if he doesn't opt into his final year remaining, is probably going to be a little bit cheaper than the rise in Moody and Kuminga's salary combined.
Say that one more time.
Well, if you go to the payroll of the Heat, you'll notice.
No. What point are you making again? Sorry.
Oh no. So it's funny. On this trade machine, you can actually give Jonathan Kuminga what, say, Franz Wagner makes for next year. Modify his contract for next year. Mm-hmm. I just traded Wagner to the Warriors to see what it would be, but you can actually sign it on there, which is a cool feature.
Well, that's confusing people. Don't get too advanced for us for a sec. So you're saying on Fanspo here, it can add the future years so that we can see if Miami's I don't know, second apron or what point are you making?
Yeah, I just used Franz Wagner on his contract on the Warriors. Mm-hmm. Did a little fake trade between the Warriors and the Magic.
Yeah, that's
season
game.
To see what Jonathan Kuminga's extension might be like. So what he might make next year.
Why?
Because I think he'll be paid around the same range as Wagner.
So what? What does that have to do with this trade?
What it has to do with the trade is that it would save us money next year.
There you go.
It's about $10 million.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. So it would save us $10 million. How so? When we're getting Jimmy Butler, and then are we trying to keep him, or what's happening there?
Yeah, I think you try and keep him. Mm-hmm. Definitely. I don't think it would be a rental type deal.
And we're saving that because we're getting off of Wiggins.
Yeah, so Looney and GP2 are off the books. We're looking at Wiggins, his contract rising a little bit, Kuminga getting a big payday, and Moody about doubling, or a little bit more than doubling his salary next year because of the contract he signed this year.
Okay. So if JK gets similar to Wagner's deal, then overall with Wiggins going out, and Jimmy coming in, the Warriors would save $10 million
next year.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, next year. Mm-hmm. Okay. So anyways, if anybody else has another trade scenario that works, let us know. But this one's pretty close. 51 million.
Yeah, you can do try the trade too, and it'll come up with wins, minutes, offense, defense, money saved.
Yeah. I don't know that I want to go that far just yet.
Okay.
Let's see. Where's that button?
It's the orange one right at the top right.
All right. I'll hit it and we'll see if it goes off on a tangent. Let's see. Well, it says success, which means the numbers work. So if anybody else has they don't need to give up two-way Wiggs for Jimmy. So how would you do it? How? Is that an emo comment, or you actually know how? Because the
it is with obviously Steph. There's no way, or with Draymond, and I definitely wouldn't do that.
Man, is that? I don't know. I feel like this day and age with social media only having like 200 characters per comment, at least on YouTube, it's just like it's hard to like. I see some comments that are just so short. It's just like there's no follow up. That trade isn't worth it. Okay, why? Anyways, but I wanted to, maybe I'm too idealistic, but I just wanted this to be an informational thing. And I think we've just showing how the trade would work.
Yeah.
And giving an example that seems to be fair in that, okay, we'll give up Kuminga because you would need Kuminga for you to even think about trading Jimmy Butler. And then you throw in Jovic to kind of address the well, we're really mortgaging the future here with nobody in the future. So then you're sending a Jovic back. That's the idea on that one. If somebody has another idea for the actual trade, just put it in the comments on YouTube, preferably, because I don't really have the bandwidth to keep checking Instagram. So yeah, it's I'm learning that it's trying to follow very limited comments is difficult.
Well, this is the idea that we were talking about, and I just felt like showing how it worked and then discussing whether it was a good idea or not might be
yeah
the way to.
So yeah, why don't you segue into? I mean, so far the comments on YouTube have been no, don't do this, don't do this.
Yeah,
and I think it's pretty obvious that. So we'll start with the no part, which is that Jimmy is injury prone. So yeah, there's always that concerns, that concern. And anything else on the no side? Because you're giving up Wiggins, and Wiggins has been had a great defensive game last night. Had a great defensive game against Luka, against Dallas as well, and just been pretty solid as a point of attack defender all season long. You'd also lose Gary on that, although and Looney's played great defense. So yeah, you're losing a little bit of defense as well, and I think a lot of people don't want to give up Wiggs the way that he's been playing so far. So those are kind of the reasons not to do it, and that's again with this particular trade scenario. If you have a trade scenario that doesn't involve Wiggins, put it in the comments. That makes sense. That adds up. So I don't know, any other reasons to say no to this, Dean?
Well,
you got the Jimmy extension, so that's another, difficult thing to deal with. But one of the things with that is that a player of Jimmy's caliber, and then you're kind of assuming that he's not damaged goods, like just out on the open market. You should always be able to get him for something. So I think the whole thing of being scared to sign Kuminga for 35 million or whatever it is, or back in the day being scared to extend Jordan Poole, like that's all just like we gave Jordan Poole an inflated contract, which was due to Tyler Hero's extension based on market comparables. Tyler Hero, he set the market price for Jordan Poole. We paid Jordan Poole that, and we were able to trade Jordan Poole at a later time. So as far as like Jimmy Butler and not being able to retain him, or like, I tend to think that it's okay to just sign guys for reasonably their market price out there. Right. If it's around 50 million, because then that's a $50 million trade piece that you can move around, and you're always going to find a suitor out there. There's 29 other teams. So I don't think that's a a reason not to get Jimmy, which is, oh no, if he makes 50 million. No, I don't think that's a reason not to get him though.
No, neither do I. I guess I would say, I want to see. Okay. Past 3 seasons. It's not coming out. Well, he shot 35% from 3 in 2023, 41.4% last year, and is shooting 35.7% this year. So it's gotten better from 3, but I would say it's not. He's not like a 40-point 3-point shooter. Which, if the Warriors were to get the perfect player, you would probably want the best 3-point shooter possible. That's the only other thing I can think of for me that I would add to the concerns that I would. I feel like I'm very much for this trade. I don't know what Rich is feeling, but I'd be happy to address the concerns that people have when we get to that point, in the argument that I'll make for why we should do this.
Well, here's E Phalanx is like team culture compromised. How?
That's the one part where I think it's hard to see where you're coming from that perspective. If I'm being honest with you. It feels like he's been great on the Heat for the most part.
I
know there's a little tension and whatever, but I think he's an awesome fit on this team.
Man, there's a lot of nonsense in the comments, man. This is somewhat disappointing, but we are getting some good ones, reason ones. A lot of the Sith absolute ones, I mean, you can just tell, like, is it worth my time to like have a discussion with you guys? It's just confusing to me. Like, just some Sith absolute, which is let's see, team culture is compromised. I mean, just the tone. Of course, I'm reading the tone from 200 characters, so I admit it's tough to. No one is stable to get a bucket on the team. It's just like, I don't know. I saw Dennis Schroder score some points last night. I think he's pretty stable, So like, can you stop it with the Darth Sidious absolutes? I ain't Anakin Skywalker here, man. You don't need to try to, overpower the whole, Sith Lord thing. So let's get to the reasons why you actually want to do the deal. I'm wait and see, because I need to see. I need to.
Yeah.
I would only do the deal if, like, I mean, if we're 10 games above 500 in a month, why do the deal? So there's that. And if JK is averaging, 18 points a game, how much is he averaging right now? I don't even know. I don't really follow the stats. I just watch games and kind of get a feel for it. But like, let's see.
Yeah. 18 and a half points.
18. Okay, so say bumped up to 20, 21 points per, whatever. JK looking like he's hitting his mid-range and he's looking like really confident.
JK, sorry.
Yeah, then maybe don't do the deal, and we're looking like we could actually contend, that we could actually on paper, possibly beat OKC, Boston, Dallas. Those are the litmus tests. Those are the benchmarks. Those are the comparisons you want to try and live up to. I'll tell you one thing is Eric G from our he's our draft expert. He really doesn't want to give up Wiggs right now because let me go look at some of the comments that he made, and those will be some more no's, and then you can kind of chime in with your yeses on those.
Oh, yeah. You want me to start answering some of the concerns?
I want to bring up some of the concerns that that Eric G brought up.
Right.
So when the exercise he's doing is like, okay, let's compare ourselves to, like, say, Dallas. So who's going to guard? So who would what would the rotation look like? Who's the starting five if this trade was made and included Wiggins and Kuminga? That would be the first concern, is the wingspan. Jimmy is 6'7", 5-time all defense.
Mm-hmm.
So you get Steph, Dennis, Jimmy, and then your 4 and your 5 is either
Draymond.
J.K. Draymond or Draymond TJD, right?
No, JK's in the trade.
Or Loon. Oh, I mean, yeah, JK's gone.
Kyle.
Okay. So Steph, Dennis at the 1, Steph at the 2, Jimmy at the 3, Draymond at the 4, Looney at the 5, right? Let's say
No, Looney's in the trade. Kyle or TJD?
Kyle, yeah. I'm so confused by this. I think
it's all good. Maybe Moody, but we'll see.
Okay. Yeah. So again, Dennis at the 1, Steph at the 2. I mean, officially, they're all these.
Well, wingspan wise, it'd be Steph, Dennis, Butler, Draymond, Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Draymond and Kyle. You're right.
Or maybe TJD if you want to go a little bigger.
TJD.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Is that good enough to guard Luka, Kyrie, Clay, PJ, Lively?
That sounds like a pretty good matchup to me. Yeah.
Eric didn't think so.
Well, okay. Using the Mavericks, just the starting 5.
Yeah.
I think I would put Steph on Clay, right?
Yep.
Dennis on Kyrie. Jimmy on Luka. Probably let's go Kyle Anderson for that one. Draymond on PJ Washington, and I guess TJD on Lively.
Yeah. Okay.
That actually seems like a pretty nice matchup. I don't know about other teams, but that one seems pretty good.
Yeah, I can already see that the one thing that I'd be concerned about is that you don't have Looney in the rotation as a 5.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, okay. I think comparing to Dallas, that's pretty good. There's other teams we can compare to, but let's go ahead and.
Funny enough, I just watched Butler's highest scoring game of this season, actually, and it was 33 points in an overtime win against the Mavericks, and like every bucket he hit, at least I think they were all the buckets he hit in the highlights. They were all low post, going to the rim type shots and ones and things like that.
Yeah,
he really sliced through their defense to the hoop pretty well. Is he going to do that every night? No, he's not going to get 33. That's double the scoring average or whatever. But I was impressed by the way he handled the Mavericks in a pretty big, it was an overtime game, so both teams are playing well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's just go ahead and get into why you would want Jimmy Butler, because we've given a lot of reasons not to, and then we've given an example of how we match up against Dallas, which Dallas obviously has a championship caliber rotation.
Reigning Western Conference champs who added Clay. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we could go through the exercise of OKC and Boston. Maybe we'll do that later. But I wanted to get to, because we've spent 34 minutes largely having some concerns about Jimmy. But let's hear Dean's pitch for actually getting Jimmy, which I'm open to listening to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's look at some of these concerns. First is that he's injury prone.
Yeah.
He's only missed 6 games this season out of 26 for the Heat. That's one thing. It's not like we haven't had successful seasons where Steph who's the engine of the team, you know, or KD or Clay or whatever, have or Draymond for that matter, have missed, you know, have played 65, 70 games, whatever it is. And Butler is the number one guy in the Heat, right? Steph is the number one guy in the Warriors. If you have two of them on the same team, the burden is lightened for both of them. You know, as someone said, while Steph and Dre are on the bench, you know, Dennis and Jimmy are in the game. So I'm less concerned on the Warriors about Butler's availability and everything like that than I am, you know, when he's not next. And no offense to Bam or anything like that, but when he's not next to a true all-time, you know, number one like Steph Curry. As far as the spacing and the shooting and everything like that, you know, I'm impressed that. Oh, I got it to work now. He's only taking 2 threes a game, but he's shooting 38%. My guess is that his 3-point percentage will go up. That tends to happen with wings who play in Kerr's system. You know, like Wiggins, if I don't have the numbers off the top of my head right now, but Wiggins became a significantly better shooter in Golden State than he was in Minnesota, in part because of the off-ball gravity of Steph and Draymond's passing and the motion offense and everything leading to more open shots. So I'm not too concerned in terms of spacing with Steph and Dennis and Jimmy as our kind of. I know the small forward used to be part of the front court, but it's basically the perimeter players backcourt now. So another thing is that's incredible passing from 4 players. You know, Jimmy is one of the best playmakers in the league, I think. Tough guy who gets to the hoop, draws a lot of fouls. I still, you know, is he the defender he was in 2020? Maybe not, but I still think he's an excellent defender, excellent, you know, both Kyle Anderson and TJD filling out the bigger players, the forwards and the center. I think that's you know, that's formidable, tough, experienced veteran front line, I guess, on defense. And in terms of culture and everything like that, I think, you know, as someone said, Jimmy, in the comments here, Jimmy's might be a hothead, but I also think if we got, and I do think CP3 was a success on the team. If we got that out of Chris Paul, I think we'll be fine with Jimmy Butler. It's also just championship experience. He's not a champion, of course, but he has been to 2 finals. What was it? 3 conference finals?
Yeah.
20, 22, 23. Yeah, 3 conference finals recently. And in terms of depth, you know, right, we probably have to make one more move just to fill out 14 people on the roster, some, you know, clear a little space and sign, you know, I don't know, Pat Spencer or Quentin Post or something like that, you know. That you would imagine that some combination of Brandon Pajemski, Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, and Kyle Anderson or TJD, whoever's not starting, you know, is our kind of 9-man rotation. Am I forgetting somebody? I feel like I'm forgetting an important player with that one.
Well, you'd have to make another trade to fill out, or at least another trade, right? At least one more trade.
Oh, Lindy.
Yeah. Wait, because we would be sending out 4 players, getting back 2. So what do you do about those other 2 spots?
Yeah, you'd probably have to make another trade.
What's an example of that one?
Well,
because it's probably not Moody.
No,
because his thing is complicated here. Because you have to send out 5, get back 11. That's complicated because of the extension. As I've said before, like you're probably not sending out pods because you're getting pretty good value on this $3.5 million contract. So what's an example? Because now we're dealing with some really small, even smaller salaries down here with Lindy, Trace, and Gee. Because you got veterans minimums.
Yeah, the veterans minimums are quite low, actually. And
look at that up.
For a guy like Pat Spencer or Quentin Post, it wouldn't be much. You could do a consolidation trade with Buddy, maybe. Lindy's a little bit more than that. I'm not sure what the what kind of small contracts the Dubs would be looking for, but there are ways I think to make that work. Yeah,
it's 1.8 million, which is that's what Trace is getting.
Yeah.
I mean, are you sure we can stay under the first apron? Let me see, because you're sending that out.
Yeah, well, you see those 2 contracts. I think maybe.
I think we're going to need to get another player back somehow.
Yeah,
not sure.
Well, I don't think you would do it with the Heat though, and I just wanted to look at the Heat side. I think there could be value actually in in a consolidation trade for a guy like BP and Santos or something like that. But I don't want to. I just I don't want to say, oh well, do Buddy instead or do Kyle instead or any of these other larger contracts so we can get back multiple pieces, multiple role players for one. But I think Dunleavy would be able to manage it.
All right. Well, the heavy lifting is the getting Jimmy part.
Yeah, exactly.
And also the Knicks did figure something out in their cat deal to kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I think the part that intrigues me is that the tricky part, and I think a lot of fans forget this, is that the playoffs is a different animal than the regular season. And so
right.
I'm leaning towards this if the playoffs started next week or, in February 6th was the start of the playoffs. But I worry about, winning regular season games and becoming a 6th seed or better to get into the playoffs, like guaranteed. So that part makes me kind of more hesitant on some of this. Of course, if the team is still around 500 in a month, or in a month, which would be late January, then it almost feels like, even if you viewed this trade as musical chairs with, Wiggins out, Jimmy in, or, somebody already even said in the comments, aren't you just getting sort of like Wiggins? Yeah, I might even just do it just to shake things up a little bit. But I do love the part about Jimmy having championship contending experience and just being a force, just being a dog, It's like Steph recently said about Dennis Schroder. So the personality thing, you know, whereas Wiggins isn't really a go-getter, and he's been described as not being a go-getter from like people inside the organization. So they know that about Wiggs. Jimmy's a go-getter. So that those things are, I mean, that he just makes the guys around him tougher. He is more of the Dennis Schroder, Draymond Green personality. And so I see that part. And you mentioned that when we originally talked about this, that was your main pitch, was that he's a really tough guy. So so yeah, there's always nothing's ever cut and dry, because if it was, then it'd be a no-brainer type thing and it wouldn't be a debate. So yeah, there's the concern about injuries and stuff. So what about waiting a little bit, Dean? Like, when would you trade for Jimmy if you're trading for Jimmy, which you are?
Because we haven't won a sweepstakes in a while, and people are bringing up not having a training camp and everything, I think if he's available, I would just go for it. Honestly,
Yeah.
I feel great after the win yesterday, but yeah, I think I would just go for it right now.
All right. What else are we saying in the comments? Okay, not getting all the touches. So what does that mean for Jimmy?
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe Butler wants the ball in his hands a lot. I mean,
fine.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis Schroder and
Wait, I think that's a good idea.
You know, with Draymond and him switching back and forth doing pick and roll or whatever, and TJD lob threat or Kyle Anderson up there, and Jimmy's cutter or whatever. I think that'd be fine.
The other thing to that is, I mean, let's give Jimmy some credit, man. Like, it's just like, come on, he's not going to come in here and step on Steph and Draymond's toes.
That's why I brought up Chris Paul.
And then
it's similar tough guy, type thing. But I think they'll be happy next to Steph and Dre, knowing that these guys are serious about winning.
Dennis already mentioned that multiple times, so I got to send you the link on that.
And well, let's just think about this 10-man rotation. Let's say we did have to trade BP or whatever for salaries, just because that's the lowest contract. If you have Steph, Dennis, Butler, and Draymond, that's your core four, right? Which means two of those guys, if it's not a blowout, should be on the court all the time. Sometimes four together. I think I'm fine with any combination of those guys. Maybe not Steph and Dennis alone without Jimmy or Dre, but hey, maybe. And then Buddy, Lindy, we have Kyle or TJD, Moody, and Jovic. Getting Jovic back with this, I think that's fine as 10 players to go into the playoffs with. I like the fact that we tried the 12-man rotation, things like that, but I love that for the regular season because it pushes the older starters' minutes down and gives other guys opportunities. But in the playoffs, it's 10, 9, 8 guys, and I think we have a pretty strong. You see about Jovic and Lindy, and then the other three are real solid. So far at least. But I think Jovic being part of that rotation, who I forgot to mention earlier, is a nice addition to that.
Yeah. So.
Shut your hands. Nice.
Okay, so now I guess we can go to like I wanna tackle some of these other ones.
Okay.
Why not just go for someone like Cam Johnson? Like, really? So to me, it's like, wait a minute. Now we're talking Jimmy Butler. Like Cam Johnson isn't in the same, stratosphere as Jimmy. So I don't understand the fascination for Cam Johnson. Like I just like, is he an all-star? I don't even know if he's an all-star. Like, why is everybody so enamored by Cam Johnson? I don't get that. Can someone answer that question?
I think he's a wing who could shoot. That's probably why they want him so much. Yeah, 6'8" wings.
And he's not at 50 million. Is that why? $22 million.
Yeah.
So I think we've done this many times in various lives here. What would be the salary chip with Cam Johnson? It's got to be.
They're going to want Kuminga for him.
Yeah, I'm not giving up Kuminga for freaking Cam Johnson. Or they're going to want first rounders, which we're not going to do because.
Yeah.
2025 and 26 drafts are epic.
I'm not sure this trade with Jimmy would require a lot of draft picks, considering we're giving him 2 lottery picks in Andrew Wiggins and Kuminga. I'm sure that Cam Johnson going to the Nets, they would want a lot of draft picks. That's what they want back. They don't actually want vets anyway,
Yeah. So I just, that's where like I see certain accounts on Twitter that are Warriors related, always harping on Cam Johnson, and it's just like,
I think he's a really good player.
How about making a realistic deal that I could see Brooklyn doing? And I don't see why they would even want Wiggins, who would be in the same vicinity of 22.5 million. You'd think.
No, they want Kuminga.
They want Kuminga, and I'm not trading Kuminga for.
Well, we can't take on 22 million for 7.
So exactly. So it would be Kuminga plus, Gary Payton, and they don't want him. So like, can we just Cam Johnson? Like, it just functionally doesn't make sense. Now, if Mike Dunleavy went out and got Cam Johnson tomorrow, I'd be like shocked as to, okay, what were the machinations to get that one done?
I'm sorry, Rich. What'd you say?
Huh?
Well, what was the last thing you said? I didn't quite hear you.
I said that any one of us could always be wrong and be surprised because anything can happen in the NBA.
Oh, yeah. If we get Cam Johnson, I'm going to cheer. As Bruce just said, I'm going to cheer for him. And
yeah, but I would be shocked. I'd be like, wait, how did you get this deal done? Like, that's the thing. Like, there has to be a way to get the deal done first before you say, oh, we need this guy or we need that guy, right? Yeah. So, Cam Johnson, like, okay, so how do you do this? And I don't see a path towards that. So first tell me how we're going to get there, right? So I think that gets rid of a lot of these trades, and then Vucevic as well, right? At least we used to have Melton to be able to trade his contract, but he's gone, and we just got Dennis Schroder in, and spent like 3 or 4 practices with us. I mean, like I just don't see us trading Schroder again. But like, I guess you could throw Schroder in there with Looney to get Vooch, maybe if you're languishing at 500 in a month. But other than that, like, how would you get Vucevic? And
you wouldn't.
Like, I don't know what is the deal? How do you get that 20 million back? So Looney, and like, they're not going to want Looney and GP2.
Well, I mean, were you trading Wiggins for him?
Yeah, you're not trading Wiggins for Vooch. So
I would think.
So
Well,
people,
that's kind of why I brought up Valanciunas instead. You know, if you think about that type of center, he's
okay,
making $9 million.
cool. Let's look at that then. Okay, 9.9
$10
million.
million. Yeah, 9.9. Sorry.
Yeah.
It goes up a little bit, then down too, which is interesting.
Valanciunas. Okay. So you'd have to put Looney in the deal because, like, why would you trade for Valanciunas and still have Looney, right? So it's just like making sure the puzzle fits. So would Washington want Looney? Would they to get off of JV's contract here? 10 million the next couple years. So would they do that? Maybe.
I don't think they really care as long as they get draft picks. They're like 4 or 5,
they want
whatever.
draft picks.
They
Yeah.
wouldn't take that many draft picks, I
So-
think, to get Valanciunas. And we got Schroder for an injured guy and 3 second rounders. So, you know, I don't know.
Well, I don't know how many second rounders we have left. There's not a whole lot, right? I actually have that on our Discord server.
That's true, but can't we buy them from other teams?
Yeah, you can buy them during the draft, but you can't buy them right now and then trade them for Valanciunas.
Well, I was thinking like a 3-team trade or something, you know. Send
Oh,
them
I see.
cash
Cool.
considerations is what it's called. Here's our considerate cash for your player.
Oh. I have it in our salary cap section, I think. Oh, here we go. Here's all the draft pick status. Seconds gone. We have, wow, we don't have a second until 2030. That's interesting.
Mhm.
Oh, we have 2025. Miami, their second rounder.
Oh,
All right.
Maurice Bellman.
Valanciunas. Looney in a second rounder for Valanciunas. Would Washington do that?
I don't know. I would.
Since the
hate
salaries
Loon
are so
first.
low.
Huh?
The salaries are so low that
Yeah. Right.
it's not a blockbuster deal.
No, but if people are talking about Vooch for basketball reasons, other than just get some guys off the team, then I thought Valanciunas would be probably a better fit at that contract.
So would you do it? Would you want Valanciunas?
That one I don't know about.
Yeah. That one.
I guess if Loon's going to be involved in the Butler deal, then no. I don't think I would trade like Kyle Anderson or something.
A lot of moving parts. Huh?
Although
you would trade Kyle Anderson for Jones?
I said I don't know. I don't think I would.
Oh.
Although that would be quite a center combination with him and TJD. We'd also no, because it's 8.7 to 9.9, so I don't think you could fit it in. You'd have to include another player. Yeah. So because of the Jimmy thing, I guess no. In and of itself, it would be interesting to have a guy with that size and rebounding who can shoot. But I like Loon a lot.
Yeah.
If we're GP2, maybe, but I don't know if Washington would do that. Oh wait, no, that's still over 500,000, huh?
So you.
Oh, I also agree with Exo Wonder here. I don't know if they'd send Loon to a bottom feeder like Washington, even with his Milwaukee Warriors buddy Jordan Poole on there.
All right. Bruce brought up, and feel free to repeat comments in the comments. Don't feel bad because
Exo Wonder said Loon and Gee, but Gee goes to the Wizards plus whatever the draft compensation. Loon to the third team. It's interesting. Spurs maybe. They could that if we're gonna send Looney anywhere, maybe I think the Spurs have like $25 million cap space, so they'd be able to just take on his contract. Also, good organization. By the way, do you know anything about Greg Popovich? Is he doing okay?
Yeah, he put out a press release saying he'll be back soon.
Cool. Good. Hate to think of the NBA without Pop in it,
Yeah. Bloomer has Moody in it. Moody too complicated.
Yeah. Well, E. Felix is saying the offense would not change much. It may be worse. I don't think so because you have a center at that handoff top of the key, top of the three, or top of the key kind of area action, who can step back and shoot a three. And to me, that would be a pretty big change in having a center who can do that. So that's where there's some interest in my mind. Now, the defense might not be the same, but that was one thing about GP2 and Looney both going to the Heat is also a good organization where you wouldn't be dumping them off. No offense, but in a organization that's struggled to win recently.
Yeah, and yeah, I do think that the franchise would try to make sure Gary and Looney have soft landing somewhere, but also
I think Miami would be great for them.
Yeah. But also,
honestly, for Kuminga and Wiggins too, that'd be still a pretty solid lineup.
Oh, Kuminga does. He's in Miami half of the summer.
There you go, man. Yeah,
he would love that trade, honestly.
Well, I mean, basketball wise, I mean, obviously Miami.
Well, like if he were traded,
great.
end up in Miami, when he would have Miami at the top of his list of places to be traded. Is
right, but even on the court, even if it was Detroit with that roster, I think it would be a good fit with the players around him.
Mm-hmm.
He'd still be probably a 4, but and with Spoelstra coaching him up from that young age, and Nicky saying everyone in Miami wants J.K., that kind of gave me a little happiness that the good people of Miami, Florida, would be okay with it.
His agency is basically based out of there, or part of his agency. I don't know about the main guys, but he has guys managing his off the court stuff, or I think they are involved in just the regular agency. But as far as marketing and stuff, like one of them is based in Miami. And again, he trains in Miami. All of the JK, golly, it's hard. We have so many videos; it's hard to find stuff. I gotta find Kuminga.
Yeah, which boy of choice.
The Kuminga workout video, half of it is from Miami. If I can find it. The heck is Kuminga at? Find Kuminga. Oh, there it is. Kuminga off the court. Oh, not off the court. That's on the court. Let's see.
Yeah, Felix is saying that Valanciunas is only shooting 13% from 3 this year. It's around 35% the last 5 years, though, including when he was on the Grizzlies. That might be something. One reason I like Valanciunas too is I remember him just being a tough cover for us in those Grizzlies teams. Just like Milton, actually.
What's going on over there? Or maybe
as opposed to other options, maybe. But I think you'd be a good fit, especially at that contract. Clay and desert. Like Ozymandias. Right? Yeah? No?
Great. I can't find anything. Here. Kuminga off days. There it is.
Hey, there you go.
A lot of JK in summer in Miami working out.
Is that where he first went when he came to the country?
No, I went to like New Jersey or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
New York. Yeah, it was New York. Let's see. Oh, man. You're sour on a lot of things.
Bloomer. I think I'm good on that. You know, I don't think the money works anyway. And personally, I don't want Giddey on the team. Anyway, 0.38 point what?
Okay, Valanciunus.
Oh yeah, he's not shooting high volume.
No.
But I think he would shoot a few more on the dubs. Everybody does, at least with Kerr. These are good points. Thank you for pointing it out.
Here we go. Totals. $343. It's not bad. 343.
Yeah, not for a center who's that size. They can rebound a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah. Bring up any idea you want. Again, the math doesn't work, though. So do put it through a trade machine first, will you? Thank you.
We're looking for trades or something. No, this is an educational. I got accused of that for the last trade thing too. This is an educational live stream, or at least we're trying. There's a lot of people that don't want to be in the educated mode, or don't want to learn anything, or don't want to. I don't know.
That's a problem, though.
It's a lot of.
It's a problem for the NBA too. I have
Yeah.
to tell you, Rich, because it used to be that some of the trades you throw out were a little bit more realistic. I think it's a real shame that contending teams can't get involved with this. At least if they're like the Warriors were in 22, or like the Celtics kind of are right now, with a lot of drafted players. Like the Nuggets should be looking at like what they can get for Butler, but they're a second apron team, aren't they? And they're just totally
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a difficult thing, for the NBA to have done to itself, kind of. But hey, checkbook win, right? Remember that at the end of 22? It's one of the first things I heard after the finals. Checkbook win. Oh, thanks. Okay, cool.
Who said that?
I like Wendy.
Oh yeah, Windhorst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Wendy, but that was really a very mean thing to do. Like the day we won the championship in Boston.
Yeah.
Because of the CBA rules. But hey, man,
Well, he's ESPN, therefore he loves it that you're talking about him right now.
Well, I'm just talking about the response felt from the NBA, like they took that concept too. Like we pay, like we were the Yankees or something, without a cap sheet, you just buy championships or whatever, when like almost everybody in the team was homegrown, man. But it's all right. We're here now. We just have to deal with it. And I understand why they did it too. It's not the way I would have gone about it.
Okay. Okay. Let's see.
There's something that hasn't been brought up yet, actually, is would Jimmy want to do it?
Oh,
you know?
Okay. And also maybe before you get to that,
Yeah.
I guess someone brought up there. I don't get the infatuation with Jimmy. I don't know. I don't see any infatuation on our channel, especially led by Bruce. He's like, where's this infatuation for Jimmy that you're hearing? I'd love to know where that is. But I don't know. I wouldn't use that word for Dean's take on getting Jimmy, because Dean is all good with getting Jimmy Butler. But I don't. To me, Dean is the only one that I've seen that wants to get Jimmy, ASAP type deal. So where's that? But anyways, now you can go to, would Jimmy want to come to the Warriors?
No, we need him now. God, do something. Nah. See, it's not nice. It's not nice when people yell crazy shit like that at you, huh? Why would Jimmy want to do it? The biggest thing to me is Steph and Jimmy are both in need of another number one who they can fit next to, where they both don't have to be out there constantly all the time for their team to win consistently. I know the Heat and the Warriors have both and can both win without Jimmy and Steph, but it just seems like there's the need for that from both of them, and they fit each other excellently. Jimmy's a guy who will get to the foul line, who will get buckets inside, who honestly, he has the ability to be very Draymond-like, while not relying on Draymond to have to go back to that, little bit. I've been really happy with the way Draymond's played and with his emotional regulation, as you've been mentioning, Rich. But I would just love to have a guy like that out there next to Dre. And then for Jimmy, I mean, can you imagine Steph setting him a pick? Just the offensive opportunities that would be created between those two. I mean, I think it's kind of a match made in heaven. And to go from the Heat to the Warriors, I mean, those are two good, stable organizations. And I think, his injuries and availability and whatever is maybe I'm not that concerned about Miami and him wanting to have a little divorce, because it seems like that might be what's going on. I'm not concerned that will carry over to Golden State.
Yep. Okay. Just going through some of these comments. Feel free to, pick and choose, Dean, on any comment.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. What was that? Bogdan, Atlanta.
Bogdanovich?
17 million. How do you acquire him then? How do you go after Bogdan then? What's the trade scenario?
Where's the? Oh, they're just saying go for Bogdan.
They always just put the name and they'd never put the trade scenario. I don't know.
Well, just off the top of my head, it's Buddy and Kyle. It's about 17 something million. I don't know how.
Buddy and Kyle.
Oh, wait a minute. We're adding another guard too?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's where we're. I guess my point isn't actually going through the exercise. My point is, can you please, again, for the 17th time, if you're going to suggest a target, can you give us the trade scenario? It's easy to just name names. Anyway.
And why would they want to give them up? They're doing pretty well right now. Yeah. So, I mean, I like his game and everything. I get that, but GB2, Loon, Kuminga, Moody for Bogdan and Larry Nance. I don't think the math works on that. I mean, I like Larry Nance, sure, but
Kuminga in a deal for Bogdan? Are you crazy?
yeah.
Oh my god.
That's another thing. I'm not really wanting to trade Kuminga for anybody who's not like been the leading guy on a finals.
LGW rule. Now I got to write the rule down. We are not trading Kuminga downward, right?
Right. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. It's not lateral. We're not trading him downward.
Or,
no offense to the guys.
Or lateral. Yeah.
Yeah.
JK is only in a deal to get a, 50 million type guy. That's an easy way to benchmark it.
I like that. Not downward or lateral. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good thing to carry into future trade talk too, because it applies to a lot of scenarios. And then the whole and then Vucevic. I mean, we adjust that. Like if you're gonna go after Vucevic at 20 million, then why wouldn't you go after JV at 10 million?
Exactly. I mean, Vuce is probably a better shooter for sure. Definitely a better high volume shooter. But I've actually been thinking about that real quick. I'm not sure volume changes that much. Sorry, I'm not sure efficiency changes that much with volume from three.
I always thought the more threes you shoot, the better indication of what you shoot. Like Draymond didn't shoot a whole lot of threes. 3-point percentage suffered.
Yeah.
So now he's shooting more threes. I mean, that's what Travis Walton came on our live stream to say, actually.
Yeah.
He was on our live stream saying that.
But someone brought that up. Like the NBA average has been at 36% for years now,
Oh, yeah.
And I think there's something to that. Probably, actually, strangely, volume and percentage aren't really all that correlated unless it gets better because you're shooting. Like, the more you shoot, the more you're going to make at some point, right? So I would be okay with maybe saying Vuce is Jonas or JV, shoot him more. You don't have to take one a game, take three. Why not? I mean, not at 13%, but more towards his career average. Yeah, just shoot more. Go ahead. I mean, not 10, but, Will Kuminga be an all-star in his career, number 2 option in a championship team? It's hard to answer that. While he's next to Steph, honestly, because on the Heat, I think Spoelstra would have the opportunity to build a lot more of his system around JK's skills. And what we're asking to do, and what he has tried to do very honorably, I think, is try to fit his skill set as a young, growing player next to Steph. And, you know, sometimes it feels like Kuminga has been a little disengaged, but he makes up for it. Sometimes it feels like Coach Kerr doesn't trust him, but then you'll see in big moments when, you know, he relies on him to make big plays. If he were, and again, I don't think there's anyone realistically available that I would trade him for except Jimmy. If he were suddenly to have this team with a lot of talent around him, you know, but they ran it through him, and he was playing 36, honestly, 42 minutes a night, you know, whatever. Yeah, I think he would be an all-star for sure. He's got all the talent, all the confidence, all the physical tools, and a lot of the experience at this point. Can that happen next to Steph? I think so. But maybe that's one reason I want Butler is like, let's just go for the guaranteed veteran lineup to try and win with Steph and Dre next to us right now. But I'm not giving him up for hardly anything else. If I were in Mike Dunleavy's shoes, I mean.
Yeah, good point on the fitting Kuminga. And I've said I've used like the Clippers example because we've seen the Clippers second unit with their long arms on defense. Mm-hmm. They thwarted us twice. I think Kuminga would be an excellent fit with the Clippers. He might even start. You never know, but at the very least, second unit. So that I can picture Tyronn Lue just you know, because his first option is James Harden pick and roll way up top all day, and then second unit comes in. All right, dump it down to JK all day. Like he's got no problem with that. And it's different when you have Steph on the team. Steve literally talked about that yesterday on the podium.
So and Draymond's the guy with the ball in his hands second most too, after Steph, and that's a unique that's a unique thing for your defensive oriented kind of power forward center to do that. For sure.
Yeah, and Steph doesn't get all the calls when he's held and stuff. He'd get even fewer calls if he wasn't moving around. That's the problem. So you have to move him around, because then you can't see that he's just getting held. There's actually a video in from today where I had behind the scenes footage from Minneapolis. Where is it? Where's my?
Well, you know, Steph's like Shaq, man. He's so huge and strong. Refs have no idea how to call the game for him. You know, such a physically dominating presence out there.
Let's go Warriors. I don't know why I got out of that one, but yeah, the video right here. There's one clip in here that shows I think it's Ant Edwards or probably Jaden holding Steph, but it's kind of from a distance, but you can see it. And Steph wasn't moving at that moment in time, but that's the thing is you have to put Steph in movement, especially at age 37.
Well, for Kuminga too, on a lot of other teams, he'd be the guy with the ball instead of Draymond, and he's not here, so he has to figure out how to be an off-ball guy too, right? In a way.
Yeah.
And E-Phalanx, why are you going for Vooch over JV? Just wondering. But sorry, please go ahead, Rich. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm just answering some of the stuff.
happens on the outs in Atlanta.
Looney to the Wizards. I don't see why Atlanta does that deal. Well, we gave it. I thought we gave it a good effort in terms of the whole Jimmy Butler narrative. Had some.
Yeah, it's fun.
Brett Siegel brought him up, did a whole article on him. So that's why we went and studied it some more. And actually, when we did the first trade live stream, it was when we still had Melton. So now that Melton
on the 14th, no, we already traded him.
Did we?
Unbelievably. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Let me see. What day was that?
Yeah, the 14th.
7 days ago. Yeah. Huh. Let me look at the notes. Look in the comments and. Oh yeah. Because we talked about Dennis. Yeah. But why didn't we bring up? We talked about Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we put Schroder in that deal, so we hadn't looked at alternatives. Let's see.
So Schroder, here's the thing with Schroder. I thought he could be traded again, but he can only be traded by himself.
Okay.
Since he got traded once.
Aggregation thing.
Aggregate other contracts with him. I can't remember who it was, but some guy got traded to like 4 teams in one day, and the NBA said, "You can't do that." It was a kind of a response, like they had to. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Zydrunas Ilgauskas being traded away by the Cavs, getting cut and re-signing with them immediately. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So NBA nixed that. So you can't realistically for any Butler or any other trade, you can't combine him with other guys. And I like Dennis's intensity on the team anyway. Yeah, he's not the tallest, but his wingspan's solid on defense. So be happy to roll into the playoffs with him. If only we could make it to playoffs, we'll have a shot, I think.
Did we talk? Okay, so Phalanx is now back on Vucevic. Why would Chicago want whoever they're getting? Kyle GP2 Gee.
I'm not sure Vuce is
a first rounder. Heck no. I don't know about that. I think you only use first rounders for all-star level type players. The Markkanens. The draft is becoming so freaking valuable. Like, I don't think you spend a first rounder to get 35-year-old, or how old is he? 35. An older Vooch. Nah, no way. That doesn't,
Someone said a young big like Vooch instead of Jimmy, and Vooch is, I think, the same age or older than Butler. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna disagree with that on the using first rounders. Nah, I don't. I see. The landscape of the NBA seems to be rapidly changing. You got 2 straight epic drafts coming up. Eric G told me that there's next year's draft would be like the equivalent of like 10 franchise players in the draft of 2025. So like, it's you got a top 10 pick for next year. Pretty good. So there's a domino effect as well. So you're going to get a pretty good guy in next year's draft or next summer's draft, and then pretty similarly 2026. Now, out beyond that, don't really know. I mean, those guys that are going to be in the 2027 draft and stuff, they are, how old are they right now? 15 or 16.
Yeah. Is it going down to 18? Is that right?
Don't know. I don't know. But all I know is I feel like these drafts are just going to churn out athlete. A lot of really good talent coming up.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure you spend first rounders on guys that aren't, movers and shakers across the NBA.
Right.
Like a Lauri Markkanen or like a New York having to do that to get Mikhail. You better get a fringe type all-star guy. And usually a contract of what's Mikhail at? New York.
Oh, yeah. It's not that high, I think.
Oh, it's only 23 million. Wow.
That's why he's so valuable,
Yeah. He's probably playing at Wiggs level, 26, 27, 28. Mm-hmm. That's my thing on first round picks right now. And I feel like the spending second rounders on Dennis is a reinforcement of that sense.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, let me go back to Golden State.
Well, Phalanx, I don't think Kelly Olynyk counts as a center, really. I don't know if I'd want him defensively. And I don't really want to play Draymond at center as too much during the regular season. He's interesting as a stretch big and everything, but I don't know.
Playing that center,
Kyle, honestly.
Huh?
I'm fine with Kyle playing pretty much the same position. Kyle Anderson.
Oh, I see. Where is he?
Yeah, he's on Toronto.
I'm thinking he's on Utah. Okay, 12 million. Oh, how tall is he?
6'10", 6'11". Oh, he's listed as a center.
He's only 234? Wow. You're kidding me.
Yeah, he's a skinny guy.
Oh, man.
He's Canadian, right? He is Canadian?
Yeah. 234. Wait, how big is Zubats? He's 300, right? Very heavy, right?
260.
260. Oh, okay. 30 pounds. He's got 30 pounds on Olynyk.
265.
265.
Yeah.
And what's Looney?
I think he's listed as 220. I find that hard to believe.
Okay. Yeah, 222.
I find that hard to believe.
Okay. I can see why you don't think Olynyk's a 5. Huh. Doesn't really have the mass. I didn't know he was only 235. Huh. Can he cover Zubats or Jokic?
Kelly Olynyk?
Yeah.
No one can cover Jokic. I don't know.
I mean,
again, Kyle Anderson's already playing that position. I'm happy with him.
Okay.
Yeah. I know he's decent size and he's not skinny. I just don't think – I think he's a stretch 4. Like a big stretch 4 kind of. I can play a little center, yeah, but I watched him a little in Utah, and I'd rather have him. I'd rather have him playing the 4, and we already have. Kyle's not undersized. Come on, dude's lanky as hell. Let's see.
I would say he kind of is. 6'9", 230.
What's his wingspan though?
Oh, I don't know.
I got you. 7'3".
Oh, damn! Really? Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I said, watch, no one can cover you. Well, Draymond actually did a pretty good job back in the first round, 22. I thought he did really well.
Yeah, spot minutes.
Yep.
But then, did we start Draymond at the 5 against Jokic at all in that series?
Start, I think it was Looney. Looney did really well, actually.
I think it was Looney.
Yeah. He had some big
thanks.
rebounding games against him. Thank you, James. Mr. Welker. Get people hurt in pain. Come on. We don't hurt people, man. Warriors don't. They're not going out there injuring other people's players. Who was it? Fox brought that up talking to Draymond on his podcast about Draymond grabbing Sabonis. It was Baron Davis, actually. Draymond's like, he grabbed it with 2 hands. Just joking with one another. It's great.
Someone's bringing up Claxton. 27 million. Wow. Not going to trade.
I like Nick Claxton.
Claxton though.
27 million for a Kerr offense for a center who can't shoot. Just, I don't think it would fit, personally. Okay, like Vuce the best, Olynyk, then JV. All right, phalanx. Thank you very much.
How come Bruce hasn't shot down Vuce yet in the comments for his? Bruce called him an orange cone. I haven't watched Vuce enough to study his defense, but like, is it really that bad?
No, it's not the quickest footed center, that's for sure. On the other hand, he's on the Bulls, you know?
How far worse is he than Looney?
Oh, I think Loon's a better defender than Luke. Yeah. Luke can switch out on the perimeter a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good defender. Yeah.
I'm concerned about that too. And I don't know that it would make sense because when we had the Mountain contract, then you could, conceivably use the $20 million salary together with Wiggins next summer for a $45 million guy out there.
Right.
But now how do you get that $20 million salary slot? Like, the only way to do it, can't do Schroder.
Yeah. Again, it'd probably be Buddy and Kyle or GP2 and Loon plus Lindy or Brandon.
And it's like, yeah.
No, they just have JV, which is the point of it.
The machinations to get Vooch, that part, I don't see it.
Yeah.
So that's the part I'm having trouble with the most. So, like, to go through all that to get Vucevic, who is a worse defender than Looney, I take it, on a pick and roll then. I mean,
he's a significant upgrade offensively, and he's a pretty good rebounder, passer, and shooter. So I get Phoenix is talking about offense, but it feels like a little much to give up for Vuce at this point. Also, it sounds like the Warriors aren't really.
Yeah, there was a report by, I think, Brett Siegel, where it's in his article. He mentioned Vuce and said that the Warriors didn't seem to have interest.
GP2 Kyle and Gee works in the trade machine.
Oh, there it is, crossing guard. don't need to give up Looney. But then we're not going to have Vooch and Looney on the same roster. All right. Okay. Any other ones? Let's see. Oh boy. Robbie's saying Jeremy Grant, and I already know the answer to that. Let's see. They have to send out. I mean, Wiggins is playing too well. Trade him straight up for Jeremy. Right?
Well, the other thing is, I kind of like the idea of Grant, but you're trading a 3 for a 4, and we have Kyle, Draymond, Kuminga. So I guess Grant and Kuminga, 3 or Kuminga and Grant, 3-4, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Another big guy to put next to Draymond, but I don't know. I'd rather send all these guys to Miami for Jimmy Butler. Is what I'm, none of these trades surpass what I think we get back from a Butler trade.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Fantastic Wiggins is untouchable to Bruce Morrow. Wow. I would not have thought you would ever have said that last season. But hey, man, that's cool.
What is that a reference to? Mr. Fantastic? Oh, is that the Fantastic Four dude?
Yeah, it's a stretchy guy.
Oh, that's Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fox, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it's a stretchy guy in the. They really screwed over the thing in that one. I thought a comedy thing about that. Vooch is playing stretch 4. Lenny or Brand instead of Gay.
The other thing that problem with Vooch is especially in the playoffs, boy, you're going to get pick and roll. Then you got Luka Vooch, you got James Harden Vooch. How do we survive that? So then you go, okay, then don't put Vooch on the floor crunch time.
I mean, there are other teams of guys who get you.
So why'd you trade for them?
Double doubles who aren't the best defenders. But I don't. If it was one player in Melton's contract, it felt great.
The other thing is
players.
How fast can Vooch run down the floor? I mean, is he gonna?
No, he can be a trailer and shoot from outside. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about his offense, honestly. It's giving up multiple defenders for him.
I'm trending more towards Bruce's assessment. Same thing with Brook Lopez, honestly, for me. All that fascination with Brook Lopez that we had.
I like Loon and TJD as our centers. I think they're big enough.
We talked so much about pace, especially Looney. Go look at our interviews recently with Looney. There's a lot of talk about pace, and it's Looney talking about it. And he does his best to run up and down. And you look at some of the tape that we looked at, and he's laboring, getting there. But I mean, Vooch would be even slower than that in transition. So I actually don't think Vooch fits at all with what the Warriors are thinking. I just don't think he fits.
That's
in terms of the speed.
That is probably why they put out that they weren't thinking about trading for him.
Yeah, and the defense. So because they're connected is what Steve would always say, defense to offense. So based on the things that they're saying on the podium, I don't see Vooch, and I really hadn't thought about this till now. I don't see Vooch fitting those parameters, like because he'd get eaten up in the pick and roll. So
again, I think the offensive upside of him in a vacuum was great, and he's not that fast. Like we'll be fine with that, as we were fine.
Yeah, in a pickup game,
but giving up
check
defenders,
ball up, your turn. Check ball up. But the NBA is like back and forth, back and forth.
No, I understand that.
He's gone.
Although I haven't seen,
I don't see it.
A lot of recent tape on Vooch. This is just looking at some stats and remembering having played him a couple times. But it just feels like too much to give up for him. Jimmy is a wing who can absolutely run up and down the court quickly. Yeah. He's not slow-footed. But I want to thank you, Ethanix. These are good contributions of different ideas that we haven't thought of that you put through a trade machine, so they work, and everything. And yeah, you should come on more often, man, or miss. It's good talking to you. Elijah right now plays better defense than Vooch. Always says jokes, Bruce. Bryce. Yeah, that's funny though. I like it.
How do we know Laurie was trash on defense?
Yeah, I would love to have Lauri Markkanen on the team, honestly. Athletic, tough, good shooter, tall. Yeah. I like it. Kessler's another center who can't shoot. I don't want to trade for a center who can't shoot. These centers, by the way, are not just shot blocking guys who are there to catch lobs. In the Warriors offense, the center is a guy when Draymond doesn't have the ball and is getting a pick, the center is a handoff dude at the top of the key. So they have to be able to read from both sides of the court plus near the hoop. Constantly. They have the centers on our teams have the ball in their hands more than any other, role player center in the league. Not Vooch or Embiid or Giannis or whatever, of course, but yeah. So I'm good with the guys we have unless they can shoot. You can disagree with that. Please feel free. But yeah, I don't know. I think personally I'm good. Every year the Warriors have won, they did not start a center who could shoot. Yeah, it's interesting. So it's Bogut, Zaza, or David West. Boogie, I guess, at times. Looney. Yeah. We always did have a death lineup small ball team that were perimeter players,
Oh boy.
No, I think Felix is being respectful at least, but
clearly you're going after a 4. I mean, Paul George is a 3, right?
Yeah. Clearly, some people say shooting guard, but
clearly we were going after a 4 because we went with Lauri Markkanen, but then clearly we were going after a 3 because we went after Paul George. I mean, that's the problem I have with the commenting of social media. It's like everybody needs to throw down their gauntlet. It's like not a freaking competition. We're trying to have a discussion.
I think for the most part, people are being pretty cool emotionally. Maybe not always the most realistic trades. Like Miles Turner. Like, no. Why would the Pacers give up Miles Turner? I don't think that's happening. Or someone mentioned Sabonis, getting Sabonis from the Kings. I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to give up Sabonis for what? Wiggins before they sign De'Aaron Fox to a contract? No. Point was to get both PG and Lowry. I never heard that. I
think I heard that. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. How would they have done that? Draymond? Ooh, hate to think of that. Any type of Andrew Bogut center. I honestly feel like Loon is close enough to Bogut anyway,
I guess Laurie at his 18 million at the time.
No. We had to trade 36, right? Because of what he was about to sign. You couldn't sign him to more money without trading that money away.
No doubt we'd have to pay him 36. Yeah.
But we had to trade out the 36 to pay him that because we didn't have cap space. It's very complex, this stuff.
But I did hear that somewhere.
Really? Wow.
Trying to get PG and Lowry. I seem to, but I'm not sure. But I wouldn't know how would you fit that?
I have no idea.
Into this.
Oh, wait a minute. It was probably CP3 and.
Oh, right. CP3 had involved the.
And then it would have been Wiggins and like GP2 or something for Lowry.
Oh yeah, I'm impressed, Dean. Yeah,
you would have to throw in another contract with CP though, because I think Paul George was
close enough. I can put it that way.
I can see why both teams said no.
So the Clippers would have had to take CP3, or
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Mind blowing.
Isn't it though?
I think the whole problem really to me was just the Wiggins contract was so deflated at that point in time. It's just it's a piece of meat, at that time. 26 million there with a whole bunch of question marks. Good for Andrew. He's playing himself back up to 26 million. But
oh yeah, Andrew Wiggins has really revitalized his value coming off of a very difficult season last year. I think I honestly I'm very impressed by the way he's handled it.
Yeah. Anyways, if you're the Clippers, yeah, CP3 for Paul George essentially. Heck no. And then you had to put Wiggs in the place for Lowry, and that's a heck no too. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not surprised they said no to the idea of getting both of them, for sure. There ain't much moves to make that would move the needle. Well, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I'm glad I wanted to rope it back around and call it a night. We're approaching 2 hours, but hopefully we dissected as much as we could. But yeah, I think Jimmy Butler would move the needle, and there's a lot of assumptions behind that too. So it's got to be fully healthy, etc. But again, I want to say one more time. So I'll say, but then you say why you like the deal. But
sure.
For me, if the playoffs started on February 6th, which is the trade deadline, I I really feel right now, and yeah, right now, JK could change my mind in the next month, and I hope he does.
Yeah.
But right now, if the playoffs were to start even February 6th, let alone say next week,
right,
I feel a lot more comfortable with Jimmy on the roster, fully healthy to go into the playoffs. But that's me saying that right now, and that's not like actually having JK play more games between now and sometime before February 6th, between now and the next month. So I'm wait and see. I want to see where this team can go. I'm hoping we get to 10 games over 500 would be nice. Is that reasonable in a month? Wait, probably not reasonable. How many games? Probably play 3 games. Play 3 games yeah, that's reasonable. Play 3 games a week. We got 4 weeks, so 12 games. We're 3 games over, so we need to be 7 over that. So 12 go.
Can we get to 25?
Go 10-3. Yeah. Go 10-3 in the next 13 games, let's say.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my feeling on it. Wait and see. What about you?
Again, I would just go right now. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Because you never know what will happen with other teams. They might get involved. You might end up not being able to get him. And it seems like there's a possibility this could go down before the trade deadline. And he's one of the few players out there where I feel like athletic, shooting guard, wing with finals experience is I think you'd have a 1A, 1B type relationship next to Steph, wants to be moved, fits Steph and Draymond, it feels like, in helping Steph out with a guy who can get to the rim, get fouls, great playmaker, probably be able to hit a couple extra threes in Steve Kerr's motion offense system. And again, next to Draymond, just that would be a lot of toughness, a lot of defensive acumen. So just go for it. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, I think, with 2 finals experience under his belt. It's a veteran team. Other than that, let's just keep Kuminga right now. Not saying anybody else that I would do that for.
Yeah. Cool, man. We're a minute and a half left. Let's see. Anything else in the comments?
Hey, should we do a quick poll while people splash the like button, maybe? What do we have?
Basically, Jimmy.
27 out of 43. Come on now. You guys are having a better time than that, even if you disagree with us. It's free. Or you can leave Rich some money. Coffee.
Yeah, we got here's the link. Buymeacoffee.com. Let's go Warriors. Okay, so the poll just straight up, would you trade for Jimmy? Or what options should we give?
Oh yeah, just trade for Jimmy. Yes, no, I don't know. Other stay in whatever. Yeah. Oh, Picky Lou brought up KD. Hard to find another big like that. Some will mention like a 3-team trade where I guess Butler goes to Phoenix, KD goes to the Warriors, and that's sent off to the same package is still sent off to Miami or whatever. Yeah, I would do that too. KD back? Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I guess Kevin Durant is another guy that I would put on there, but I think he's leaving Phoenix.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, if Kuminga for Butler or Kevin Durant, yeah, fine. You got me.
All right, there's the poll. 4 choices.
Oh, 4. Oh, only do it for still 500. Nice. I like it.
Near 500. Oh, we forgot to talk about Kyle Kuzma. We did forget to talk about it. Okay, real quick.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know his salary off the top of my head.
20, 25. Let me see. 23. So it's Wiggins straight up.
Well, it is declining though. For Wiggs,
why would they want Wiggs?
Again, I think they'll take anything for some picks. And
oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They should try and get rid of everybody for assets, actually.
I'm not trading a first rounder coming up. I don't know about the 2027, 28. Would Washington would they do a deal, Wiggins and a 2027? Also I think we got to save the draft picks for some just in case next summer. Just like Markkanen. You got to try and have 3 first-round picks available.
Again, that's the thing about the Butler trade. I'm not sure Miami
was not worth it. Yeah. So that's that. So
picks, and I think it's close enough in terms of value where you wouldn't have to put a lot of draft capital to get again that number 2 that everybody's asking for. So.
Yeah. Because Kuminga's in that deal.
Wiggs and Poole paired up again.
Yeah, it's like you're either
Pool boy and jacuzzi. I'm glad you know that, Shabaj.
Pool boy and jacuzzi.
It's from another YouTube channel, a cartoon basketball channel. Kind of South Park like humor.
When people bring up Kuzma, like, no.
In a vacuum, yeah, but for Wiggs, I don't know.
So not for Wiggs. The way Wiggs is playing now, especially.
Yeah, right. Oh, you said it, Shivansh, not me.
That's my thing on Kuzma. What's the trade? Not Wiggs, not a first rounder.
Yeah, I know people have been talking about him. I understand that, but I don't. Again, it's kind of lateral between Wiggs, and then just right now, I think I prefer Wiggs. If we get Kuzma, I'll cheer for him. I'll be happy.
Mr. Fantastic. Yeah.
Okay. So the Warriors get a first-round pick back from the Wizards. They're not for Kuzma and Valanciunus. I don't think the Wizards are. I don't think the last thing they should be doing is giving out first-round picks. But maybe they feel like it's a trade to get someone else, and maybe if we get a first-round pick back from the Wizards, yeah, maybe. But what's the likelihood of that happening? You think? Probably not very high, in my opinion. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't think the Cavs should make any moves at all. Honestly, they're
they're doing fine.
Fine. 25-4. That's 86.2% winning percentage. Yeah, there you go. I like it. Although we've been doing that since 2020, kind of, and 2022 for sure. Kuzma too distracted. I don't care about his fashion. I mean, it's certainly not my taste. Not that I know anything, but I don't care about that at all. It's like Steph getting distracted by golf. Who cares?
All right. So, anyways, we're getting a lot of no's for Jimmy, which was we expected that.
Yep, typical. It's all right. Hey, the more you guys hit no, the more likely it is to happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we can end the poll. So we have it in the notes. It's official. The channel does not want it to happen.
I am surprised no one said only do it if we're still 500. No one voted for that at all out of 14 votes.
Wow.
That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, I know, right? Wait till we're 500 a month from now. No, I'm just kidding.
God forbid. God forbid. 15 and what are we? 15 and 11?
Well, 15 and 12.
12, yeah.
All right. Well, glad everybody hopped on, especially you, Dean.
Thank you, Rich.
Yeah.
Always my pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Always my pleasure to have you here. Yeah. Appreciate that. It's a Sunday night, late Sunday night now, and Monday morning in the Far East. So,
yes, sir.
Everybody have a great Monday.
Yeah.
And we will see you real soon. Next live for the game, 7 o'clock.
Day, right?
Indiana. Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We get a game every other day and then some, because there'll be a back-to-back here and there.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. So enjoy that, everybody. Like, man, that's definitely a highlight for me. Highlight for me tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, I'll be available, by the way, Rich. So
thanks, man.
I'd love to hop on.
Monday afternoon.
All the new people, please come check us out tomorrow. We have a good time following the game. Rich does some play-by-play, and I'd like to hop on after, sometimes alongside as a color announcer.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please leave a like.
Color man. All right. Here's just us. We'll see you tomorrow.
I'm his Del Curry, man. Oh, yeah, that's how we end it every time. Let's go. Yeah. All right.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon. See you in 20 and a half hours. Bye-bye. Thanks.